All right, the first thing we're going to do with your second page of notes here is we're going to make some cuts. So first, let's get the extra off of the top and bottom. And just cut those blank parts off. And then the next thing you're going to do is cut along this line right here above example number 1. And then you can also cut down this line that's in between example problems and homework problems. Notice I'm cutting on the solid line, not the dotted line, right? So here's what my result looks like when I'm done cutting. I should have 3 pieces. Okay. These are all going to get glued separately. Let's jot a couple notes first on this multiplying binomials, and then we're going to glue it down. So when we're going to now be multiplying 2 monomials, right? It's going to look like this. We're going to have like a monomial like 3x and a monomial like 4y. We're going to multiply them. So first, if there are coefficients on the term, we multiply them. We're multiplying. Then we multiply the variables of one term by the variables in the other term. Right? We're multiplying the coefficients together and we're multiplying the variables together. Now, when we multiply those variables together, we use exponents to show that a variable is multiplied more than once. Okay, so this is multiplying binomials. Now, our page 2 in our notebook is on monomials, right? So, page 2 is this whole spread. That's a left page and a right page. We've already used the left side for our notes on monomials. So now we're going to glue this in. And when we glue it in, we're going to glue it way at the top because we're going to need some space below. So go ahead and grab the glue stick. And you're going to glue in multiplying binomials. That should be the very top of your page 2. Now, here's what's next, and here's where this notebook becomes a more powerful tool than just a place to glue your notes. Okay, we're going to actually be able to make our notebook a study tool. And so here's what you're going to do. We're going to do 5 examples right now, but I want you to always be able to come back to these examples. So here's what we're going to do is if you see the dotted line, you're going to cut, but you're not going to cut past the dotted line. So your cuts are going to look like this. Okay, so I've made those cuts and you can see what I have now is 5 flaps. And I'm actually going to fold. I'm going to fold along this dotted line. I'm going to fold towards me. It's a little bit challenging. Maybe I should have done this before I cut it. Live and learn. Okay, and then I can either put glue on that flap or I can put it directly on the notebook. I think it's actually going to be easier to just put it directly in the notebook. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a stripe of glue down. I'm going to flatten this out a little bit. And I'm going to paste down my examples. Okay, so now what I have, and let me scoot this up a little bit, is I have example number 1 and there's a problem and there's space underneath it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do example number 1 behind this flap. So when you come back to this and you come back to your notes, you can look at this and say, okay, wait, I know how to do this. And the answer isn't there, but when you lift the flap, it is there. So you can always check your work. So, example number 1. Let's do it. I have 3x times 4y. So I'm going to copy it. So remember my first step. If there are coefficients on the term, we multiply them. Well, there are. So 3 times 4 is 12. So I'm going to do 3 times 4, and I get 12. Then we multiply the variables in the term of one term by the variables in the other term. Well, there's an x here and a y here. So this is times x times y. And that's it. I'm done, because you know what? I'm not going to use any exponents because I don't have any variable multiplied more than once. I have one x and I have one y. So 12xy, that's my answer. Okay, that's example number 1. I just multiply the coefficients, multiply the variables. How about this next one? Example number 2, negative 5x times 7x. Let's take a look. Multiply the coefficients, so negative 5 times 7 is negative 35, right? Those rules about negatives and positives still apply. And then I have the variables are times x times x. Here I have two x's, right? So this is where I use exponents. So I'm going to write negative 35. And if I want to say that x is multiplied twice, that's x squared. Negative 35 x squared. Example number 3. 8x cubed times 2x to the 5th. All right, let's see. First, the coefficients. 8 times 2 is 16. Now, oops, and I copied this wrong. This is cubed. I just copied it, messy. So this x cubed, what this means is x times x times x. So this is 16 times x times x times x. And then this is 2, which I already accounted for, right? Sorry, this is 8 times x times x times x, right? And this is 2 times 5 x's. So here, I did the 8 times 2 already. Now the variables, this is 3 x's being multiplied together. And this is 5 x's being multiplied together, right? So here's my x cubed. Here's my x to the 5th. What do I end up with here? Well, I end up with 8 x's being multiplied together. So that becomes 16x to the 8th. And we're going to be talking more about exponent rules, but right now we can just see this, right? This is 3 x's and this is 5 x's, and we multiply them all together, it's a total of 8 x's. How about example number 4? Negative 3xy cubed times 6xz. All right, let's see what we have here. First, the coefficients. Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. Then I have times x times y 3 times another x times z. All right, let's put it all together. I have a negative 18. How many x's do I have? 1, 2. That's x squared. And we usually put variables in alphabetical order when we have multiple variables. So x is going to come first, then y. Let's see how many y's there are. 1, 2, 3. And how many z's are there? Just 1. And we could put z to the first, but we just put z. That's like, looks more normal. If we put z to the first, it's not incorrect. We just kind of don't look like we know what we're doing. All right. Last one. Example number 5. Example number 5, negative 4x squared times 7 y to the 5th z to the 3rd. Okay, first I have a negative times a positive, which is a negative. 4 times 7 is 28. I notice that there's 2 x's here, right? And there's 5 y's and there's 3 z's. I'm not even going to write all of them out because look, it's not like I have x's here and x's here, or y's here and y's here. They're all like pretty separate. So there's 2 x's, there's 5 y's, and there's 3 z's. And that's it. I've gotten everything, right? I did the negative 4 and the 7. You can even like kind of cross them out as you multiply. I got the x squared, I got the y to the 5th, I got the z to the 3rd. And there's my answer. Okay, so now notice what you have here, because what you have is something really powerful. You have 5 examples that you can go back and you can try these. 1 second. You can go back and you can try these and you can say, okay, wait, I know how to do this, right? And you could say 3x to 4y. You can do it on a separate piece, or you can even use some of the blank space on your composition book down at the bottom to work it out and say, okay, let me check my answer. Oh yeah, that's what I got. Or maybe that's not what I got and I'm confused and I can ask for help, right? So now you have a study tool. And in fact, what you're going to do next is you're going to continue to create more study. Okay, this is the last thing we're going to do on this page. So you have examples, right? You have 5 examples pasted. And now you're going to take your practice problems, and I'm going to just trim off the extra white space on the side. And you're going to do the same thing you did before, which is you're going to paste them down. Okay, and I'm going to learn my lesson. I'm going to fold this back first. It's going to be a little easier to fold without the cuts. So I have it folded back. Right, I made that crease right there. And then I'm going to cut. And now what you're going to do is you're going to paste this down and you're going to work on these problems. Now, for these, I'm not going to do them. I'm not going to do them in the video right now. This is your first classwork assignment. That's going to be checked. So, let's paste them down real quick. And now, feel free to use your examples. Feel free to use your notes. But you're going to go ahead and do homework problem number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 under these flaps. And then you're going to show me for your first classwork grade. And when you're done, look what you're going to have. You're going to have something awesome. You're going to have all in one place. You're going to have notes on monomials. You're going to have notes on multiplying monomials. And you're going to have 10 practice problems for you to try and go back and make sure that you understand and practice. Okay, so it's all going to be in one place. So right now, you're going to stop. The video is going to end. You're going to work on these 5 problems, and then you're going to show them to me.